right, happy Sunday, everyone. It's Easter Sunday. Tarunshetty here. I'm sitting on the floor of my bedroom. This is where I record my podcast. This is a podcast, so it's more just me rambling into a phone for 20 plus minutes. By the way, I listened to the last recording I did. Oh my God, I sound like I'm insane. First of all, let me just say this, that I woke up. I couldn't sleep that night, and I woke up about 6:30 a.m. and just literally grabbed my phone and started talking. That's why I sounded like I was, on drugs or something. But hey, I kept it real, and I'm going to do the same today. So here's a question I do get. I do this joke on my vlog all the time. I'm like, hey, here's a question that nobody ever asks me. Well, here's a question that people actually do ask me. If you walk into my bedroom, there is a poster of Bobby Khan, right? Bobby Khan is the movie that I made. Everyone knows that. I talk about it a lot. And I'm going to and the normal question is, why do you have a poster of yourself, a giant movie poster in your bedroom of yourself, right? Sometimes people don't even know it's me. Strangers who have never seen Bobby Khan, they just think I'm in Bollywood. I've got some random Indian guy wearing sunglasses on my wall. And truth be told, the reason why I have that poster on my wall is because it's a reminder. It's a reminder that I can do anything and that people in general can do anything. So here's the long story longer, which I'm going to tell. So I was a young comedian in New York, right? I totally idolized when I was coming up, guys like Adam Sandler. Huge influence, Adam Sandler. I mean, I'm from New Hampshire. He's from New Hampshire. He grew up like an hour away from my house. It's called Manchester. I grew up in Laconia. And I used to love Saturday Night Live when I was a kid. Especially because I was extremely insecure about speaking. I think I've had a speech problem, but I was I was very insecure about speaking out loud, and I loved writing. I loved writing comedy, specifically. I would write like sketches and comedy things, and 7th grade study hall, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I just loved doing it. I knew I liked doing it. I didn't know what a TV writer was, what a comedy career was. I just, it was probably me in my purest form as a 12-year-old writing comedy without thinking about what other people are doing, how careers unfold, all that stuff. So I started writing comedy, and as I got to high school, I got into Conan O'Brien, because he was another young guy on TV, and he was from New England. Not that I only watch people from New England, but I was just very impressed by comedy that was different. And at that time, Adam Sandler was extremely different. Conan O'Brien style of comedy was very different as well, and I was impressed with. I was like, oh, here's a guy for me. Like, the older generation had Johnny Carson, maybe David Letterman, but I was like, this guy, Conan O'Brien, this is a guy that I can get into. So I was really into this guy through high school. Anyway, so that got me into stand-up, and I always wanted to write comedy. That was my thing. And then as I progressed through school, I went to BU for a year, then I went to NYU, and I graduated from there, and I worked at Boston comedy scene, I worked in New York comedy scene, and I got it into my head that I wanted to be a performer as well. Like, there were guys that were writers and performers, those are the people I really gravitate towards. Gary Shandling, Ricky Gervais, Simon Pegg, like Ben Stiller, guys who are able to, and I say guys, I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm a guy, so I was into more male comedians, just the way it is. So I really wanted to. I just knew I wanted to be a performer as well, and then I got into the acting thing, which was totally weird because I never intended to be an actor. Never wanted to do it. I just was like, oh, this is a great way to just express myself. And I remember graduating NYU film school, knowing how to make films, but I didn't know how to actually shoot a short or a movie without having a whole crew underneath me. Right? That wasn't around when I graduated. So when I got to LA, that's where I kind of, I had it in my mind. I want to I want to be a comedy actor. I want to be a comedy star. I want to be on screen and do things, but I wasn't I wasn't so diehard into acting. I wasn't like, oh, I got to go to acting class and reading lines. Like, for me, that was like being a puppet. I just did not see the appeal of going to 1,000 auditions so you can be on set. Even, I did a guest star on Grimm, on NBC's Grimm, which is probably one of the only network TV appearances I've done because I just stopped auditioning. And when I was on that set, I was like, hey, this is boring. I'm just locked in a trailer for 4 or 5 hours, and they call you out to do your lines, and you go back in, you hang out in a trailer again. So I got bored into me. So when I got to LA, I really was trying to figure out, how can I be an actor and control it? How can I actually do my own thing the way my idols did, which was, writing their own comedy movies. And then I worked at Showbiz India, and then we made Desi OC. Like, me and my guy named Atif Mirza, we made Desi OC, this web series. It wasn't a hilarious comedy, but there were comedy elements in it. And I was like, wow, my God, people were actually watching me do my thing on this YouTube series. And I got a crazy amount of hits. Like, it's like at least 2-3 million if you aggregate all the episodes. And then I just had this weird self-belief in myself that, hey, I can do this for a movie. I can. And we wrote this movie called Raising Daisy. That was actually the original name of our production company. But Raising Daisy was actually this movie that I wrote with Atif Mirza. And we were going to shoot it, and, we actually got some weird producer attached who was going to raise money for us, and it went away, and it was this whole process where I was getting really frustrated. But I still had this belief in myself, and I was like, well, you know what? I've done this a million times through Desi OC. I did it when I was working on Showbiz India. I have this weird X-Men superpower to make things happen and just create things. So we did this Bobby Khan sketch on Showbiz India back in, 2006 maybe, and it did well, and I had fun doing it. It's almost like this mix of Bollywood stuff, like Bollywood actors that we interviewed, and I had fun with it, and I was like, I can make a Bobby Khan movie. Cut to, I think Atif actually told me some filmmakers who just set a deadline, and then they started shooting on that deadline. And that's what we did. I wrote Bobby Khan in maybe like a week or two, maybe less than that. I think I wrote it pretty quick. And, I've made his notes, made some changes, and we started shooting. We had no money. We started shooting every weekend for the next 2 years, scene by scene, shot by shot. And it was probably the hardest 2 years of my life of trying to get that movie. I think I put honestly, I think I must have put $7,000 to $8,000 of my own money into it, and that was it. That was only for SAG fees. And I paid all the actors, the camera equipment. But ideally, to shoot a movie, even that level, if you watch it, looks old now. But even shooting a movie like that would cost at least $100,000 back then. So that's what we did. I just grinded out producing and shot that movie, and also acted in it, which was a dream of mine. And the hardest part was just keeping that ship sailing, right? Because the thing about a movie is, if you shoot a real movie, so I've heard, you get it done in X amount of days, right? You have 20 days to shoot it. You get it all in the can, then you edit it going to post-production. This was a movie that we were shooting over 2 years. I mean, it was crazy. Literally, we would show up and shoot a scene for the weekend, and the girl who played Bobby Khan's girlfriend or love interest, Dima Maladad, who played Ria, we found her, and she would drive from San Diego every weekend to do her scene. And then she'd come in on Saturday, we'd shoot on Saturday, then she'd leave Saturday night, maybe come back again Sunday morning. It was crazy the way we did it. And, you know, I got Russell Peters to be in the movie. I asked Russell, I didn't even know Russell that well. I hung out with him a few times, and I just started emailing him and calling him like, can you please do this scene in this movie? Because I wanted somebody to be in this movie, like some kind of notable person. And Russell was really nice to drive up from Las Vegas to do his scene, and we did it in like some weird 7-Eleven shop that a friend got us at night, and then he did a scene and drove back. You know, since we're talking about celebrities, I'll tell you, I don't even think this guy's a celebrity, but I'll just talk shit because who cares? So actually, I tried to get Cal Penn in the movie for one of the scenes. I used to see Cal at my gym, and you know, I knew him on like just a very not even a friend basis, but just like an acquaintance business. Like, hey, what's up? I think I gave him a ride home to his house once, whatever, after the gym, and I saw him at the Westwood Brewing Company, where I used to do stand-up comedy every Tuesday and Thursday, and I was like, I saw Cal at the gym. And I was like, hey, Cal, can you be in my movie? And he's like, oh, I can't. I'm flying out tomorrow to like DC or something. And I was like, oh, well, thanks for considering it. And then I went to Westwood Brewing Company, where I did stand-up comedy every Tuesday, Thursday. Who do I see in the karaoke room? Cal Penn. And I was like, what's up, dude? You know, it's totally busted him. And he was like, I mean, I was like, come on, man. Seriously, I don't even care if you say no to me, but don't do the Hollywood thing. Tell me straight up you don't want to do it. Don't make some BS, because Hollywood's a small town. And guess what? I don't care. So that was that. I also got the movie to the guy from Sliders. I forget his name. Whatever. He's a big actor. He was in my improv class. And whoever the lead of the TV series Sliders, I can't think of his name. Oh, Jerry O'Connell. There it is. And but at least he read the script and said, I'm too busy. I just had twins, so I can't do it. So I was on a mission. Nothing would stop me. So we got the movie done. It took us 2 years. And then we spent another year editing it, which was crazy. I mean, to finish a whole movie, there's actually a documentary. Like, it's not even a documentary. It's like a 6-minute video that I made about the process of shooting Bobby Khan, which I don't know, it's like the making of Bobby Khan. Maybe it's on YouTube somewhere. And we edited the movie, and we finished it. And it was such a huge accomplishment. And I'll tell you, we screened it. We had a screening in somebody's house. Some rich guy let us use his movie theater in his house. I don't even remember where we screened it, but we had like a test screening for like friends and acquaintances, just to like improve the movie. And if it ran too long. And I actually remember crying in the back. Like, I got teary-eyed because I thought, wow, this is something which I envisioned. I wanted to make a comedy movie, and I wanted to star in it, and I had no resources. And here it is. It happened. And that's why I have, long story short, we didn't get in any festivals, which was complete bullshit. But anyways, but it was, we had this huge screening in Hollywood, rented out another theater. I forget exactly where it was, but we rented out this huge theater, and so many people showed up, and it was just probably one of the greatest nights of my life. It was like my own mini Sundance. And, I remember I got these posters made up, and I had them printed, and I gave a copy to Atif. I gave a copy to Yelda Sadiq, who was there every single day, and so many people were just instrumental in helping me accomplish my vision of what I wanted to do. It wasn't a singular thing. There was a team of people who helped me get from A to Z, and I learned so much about myself. I mean, honestly, after Bobby Khan, because of the movie, I was so frustrated with the movie not being this huge comedy hit. I knew nothing about the business. I seriously knew nothing about filmmaking. I knew a lot about stand-up comedy, but I knew nothing about how distribution works, or how South Asian movies, comedy movies, are a hard sell in abroad. When we were shooting the movie, I was interning at a sales agency. This is how badly I wanted the movie to do well. So I started interning for Voltage Pictures, which made Hurt Locker and Dallas Buyers Club, and I got in really well with these film distributors. On the down low, I was trying to just make any contacts I could to make sure that my movie was seen. And they just told me straight up, they were like, "We can't do anything with this movie. We can't distribute it." And along with that, and the festival rejections, which is why again, if you listen to my IFLA thing, I took it personal, because I was like, come on, the one people, you're Indians, you can't help me out. I'm Indian as well. I mean, you're the one festival that should be helping me. So I felt like I was alone. I felt like nobody gave a shit about me, or my movie, or my crew, or my team. I let a lot of people down, which just put me in this downward spiral after Bobby Khan, and I was done acting. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I don't like acting. I don't like auditioning. And then to actually go through and shoot another project, whatever it was, I was just emotionally exhausted. And I remember, so I applied for a job at an agency, and I got a job at United Talent Agency in the mailroom, which was ridiculous as a 30-something-year-old working in the mailroom. But I was so done. In fact, a comedy agent actually called me a week before I was supposed to go to UTA, and they wanted to rep me. I said no to them. I said, I'm good. I didn't want to audition anymore. I told them that, and that was I always wonder. I was like, well, maybe I should have kept going. But honestly, I look back, and I was just done. I had no more. I had nothing left to audition, and it didn't interest me anymore. I just wanted to get a job, get a paycheck, and just do something different. That's where I was in that moment in time, and I lived by that. I lived by my choices and my actions. But I always had that poster up on my wall. I printed out the poster, I put it on my wall, and whenever I want to do something, I look at that poster, and I think, even now, I mean, there are times now I'm like, God damn, I'm old now. I'm not super old, but I'm older, and the business knows me. Certain breaks that I thought would happen by now haven't happened, and if you follow my career, you know that I put out a lot of content still, right? Whether it's vlogs, Bobby Khan sketches, whatever it is, I'm always creating things, right? I've been doing it since I was, making stuff since I was in college. And I make stuff without pretty much without any backing, financial backing. I just, shoot it myself, edit myself. I pay people as much as they can to be in my projects. But when I look at that poster, I always think, I can do this. I have the power. I have the ability to create. And this is coming from a guy who didn't have any of these skill sets out of film school. I learned how to do this shit, on my own. Again, film school taught me how to do stuff with a, 8-person crew. All these videos I do now, I do pretty much by myself. And it's not because I'm incredibly gifted. It's just because I think I can do it. I really think I can make things happen. And it's going to be good. So that's why I have that movie poster. And I wrote this book recently, which I put a lot of true things in that book. It's called Laughing in Hell. It's on Amazon or, Barnes and Nobles, whatever. And it really locks into the depression part of that book when I drive to a bridge. That's true. I mean, I was so depressed. Like, I put a lot of true elements and all the sadness that I experienced into that book. But I'll tell you, man, I was on YouTube today and I was watching an interview with Andy Samberg. Andy Samberg, lead of Brooklyn 911. And he was in a bunch of my classes at NYU, right? I remember seeing him there, and he had this friend named Murray Miller who was there, and they kind of did their own thing. And he was talking about his career trajectory and how he got on SNL when he was 25, and how Murray helped him, get a job, a writing job, and that led to SNL, and Jimmy Fallon recommended him. And for a second, I was like, man, I wish I had those contacts when I was, 25. I wish someone just put me in that path so I could at least have that opportunity. And that's what really, made me sad for a few years, because I always felt like, man, I have all this, I have the ability, I just can't get it seen somewhere, and when I try to make my own stuff, nobody gives a fuck. But then I also thought, you know what, my career and my journey is unique on its own. Like, I can say this now, but I know that I'm mentally stronger. I'm spiritually more evolved for myself. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else, but I'm just a more complete human being and far different than the person that I was when I was, 20 years old, 21, out of film school. And that movie brought a lot of suffering afterwards, which I think helped me evolve consciously and just understand myself and just, hopefully give me a tool belt and a skill set to kind of deal with emotions and understand things better and process things better and evolve. And in fact, last night I was supposed to do comedy. I ended up hanging out with a girl. I was like, I'm just gonna. It's a new thing. I was like, I'm just gonna go there instead. I would never have done that. I would never have done that 10 years ago. I mean, I would have been like, oh no, I gotta perform stand-up comedy first. So I feel like that movie poster just symbolizes so much to me, and hopefully it'll stay up for the rest of my life. Let's see what happens. Oh, by the way, so I started a Patreon. If you want to support me, you can contribute even $1 on Patreon. It's look for Tarunshetty, Patreon, Patreon, something like that. You can find it. My book, Laughing in Hell, it's out. You can buy a book there. Appreciate you listening. Have a great day. Bye.